Good afternoon, everybody. As promised, I sent out some texts this afternoon with different attachments for you guys to look at. The first one should have had a couple of Dayforce files in there for you to set up your Dayforce, just like we talked about in the meetings on Monday and Tuesday. It's paramount for you guys to set those up. So if you have issues with those attachments, if you have issues with setting those up, please contact me, or you can contact Dan Vidmar, and we'll walk you through the steps to get you onto Dayforce so you can access your checks, your benefits, and keep an eye on subpay as we enter into that period of time. We did have those meetings on Monday and Tuesday, so if you did not and you were not able to make meetings, know there's people on vacation, contact me. I'm probably going to do a private video on that too, so you can watch that and you can catch up on what we walk through, whether it was the MOU or the information sheet. I'm still planning on meeting with people too that had scheduled private meetings. That's fine. We'll continue to get that information out to you. Through those different meetings, there's a lot of questions that were posed that we're still gaining answers to. I did speak with Angela DiNucci today on the phone and got some more clarification onto these transfers / hiring at these other facilities. The important thing to note that it is going to be a transfer / hire, and it will go off of seniority as was stated. I know the application process looks strenuous. You're still going to have to, I've been told, have a resume. The QR codes were in that second message, and I'm working through those for people that have a hard time with gaining access to them, rather doing them on the computer, which I understand. I'm working through that, but if you go and apply to those positions, it will be by seniority. The HIBTAC employees have preference, as we know, but when it defers to our people, your company seniority matters. So once they have you in the application process for whether it's going to be a millwright or electrician, once they figure out who's who, they'll go through by seniority to figure out who is going to get the job. So if you have 20 years of service, you're going to get more preferential treatment over someone that 10 years of service. And that also, an update on that for you guys, I spoke with or was messaging with President Johnson over at HIBTAC. And as of today, 81 employees have taken a voluntary layoff, their 6-month voluntary layoff. And so what that means is that there's a higher likelihood with those 81 employees of not applying to transfer to these other facilities. It's not totally the case, but with 81 of them taking a voluntary layoff with callback rights, that is potentially less people looking to transfer. So if you're looking to go to Tilden, if you're looking to go to LSI, or if you're looking to go to North Shore, with those 81 HIBTAC employees potentially taking a VLO, that may mean that you might have a better chance than if all 250 or whatever that number is at HIBTAC was looking to get jobs. So I asked with President Johnson if we could share that with you. He said there was no problem with that. So I just wanted to give you guys that information. So if some of you were on the fence thinking it was hopeless, it's not totally the case. I know moving to Michigan is kind of a big endeavor, but it's an option for you. Also, I have emails from John Arbogast, our staff rep. He represents a facility in International Falls. I mentioned this in meetings, but the Packing Corporation of America is hiring around 20 positions. There's laborers, millwrights, pipe fitters, machinists, garage mechanics, process engineers, capital engineers. So they're hiring all sorts of different fields, and we just so happen to have all those different fields potentially going into this layoff. So there's a lot of options. I'm working with Deed right now. I'll have a meeting with them tomorrow, and we'll be going through what that May 6th meeting is and hopefully get that time out for you so you can show up and have some questions for them and get those answers from a qualified professional and not just one of us that's trying to Google and learn this stuff on the fly. An update on the unemployment extension. This morning I watched the Minnesota House Ways and Means Committee. One of the House files that's carrying an unemployment extension for us by Representative Johnson is House File 3023. That was passed unanimously from the Ways and Means Committee. I texted Representative Johnson and thanked him for this and asked him what the next steps were going to be. And he said now it's, to his understanding, it goes to the Rules Committee, and then from there it will be pushed on to a House floor vote. And so he's going to keep me updated. It has to be updated. I know there's another one, House File 3030, the one that we were testifying with as well with Representative Igo. I'm keeping an eye on that bill and those other provisions too that will massively impact the air and range. I will keep you guys updated on those statuses now that we're in this position where we have to be looking at, the state politics, the federal politics, and as well as work through the union issues and try to get our mind idled safely and get all those people entered into this layoff period with as much information as possible, with all the resources that we can possibly gain them. I still have the QR codes here. If you had issues with those, you can still come to the union hall. There will be staffing here, whether it's Kyle through ICD or other people here. They'll work you through that process. You still, I know it's annoying, but using that phone to scan those QR codes is the best setup possible. But that being said, the other two clarifying points I want to make on that is, if you get a job at another facility by Cleveland Cliffs, a mining facility, once you get hired, you will go through a probationary period of employment there, and you will be subject unto their PIB. So what that means is that you will no longer be under our benefits that are at our facility. You'll be transferring to North Shore, Tilden, or whatever their employee benefits are. You will be on probation. You will still have to go through that process. I know I'm not a fan of that, but that is just the option on the table for you. I did ask the question, if you do get fired or they let you go or something happens to you while you're employed at another Cleveland Cliffs mine, if that would negatively affect your employment or layoff status at Minorca. She said, no, I'm getting that in email writing, so that if you're a probationary employee, you get fired or let go for whatever reason, that will not affect your Minorca employment. It will not go on your file. You will just revert back to being laid off and go into the unemployment benefits and within that section that you fall, whether it's 2 to 10 years, 10 to 20 years, and whatnot. So those are important things to remind yourself of and know going into this. I'm still figuring all this stuff out too, and I'm trying to get these answers to the questions that you had on Mondays and Tuesdays meetings. I'm not a big fan of how this is working with having to go through a probationary period, but what I am a fan of is that it not at all negatively affecting your employment at Minorca or callback rights in any way. That was an important question I asked, and an important question to have nailed down in this. So this is just information for you guys to think about as you're applying. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of you guys that came again on Monday and Tuesday. I know that it was such short notice, and over Easter weekend, we had a great turnout with those different meetings and those different time frames. Kim and Chad have worked very hard, so I'll be sure to thank them for all their time. I know Chad is still working through canvassing to try get that 18-person list filled out so that we can get our guys and gals home from the mine and transition into how the mine is going to look going forward. I will still be working through everything. I'll still give you guys updates. I'll still be watching the state politics and being active in that to try advocate for unemployment, as well as just the different provisions that are going to help open up more opportunities. I will keep you guys updated as much as possible, and also try not to annoy you guys with updates as well. So I apologize for this one coming so late, and also for the length of this video, but there's just enough here that I wanted to make sure that you guys had this information. We're still going to have our meeting on May 13th. The other thing that I want to leave you guys with is that when I was in Vegas, my main objective was to make sure that a provision was passed from the Constitutional Committee to stream union meetings. And I'm here to say that there was little to no pushback, and the International Union has adopted the provision to let local unions have the ability to stream their local union meetings and give their memberships access online. On that May 13th meeting, I'm hoping that we can gain a motion to go through that process and communicate to the International Union our intention to stream online meetings. Because as we go into this war notice and beyond, our members are going to be all over the place, and having that online access will help all of you guys be able to keep us accountable here, make sure we're still doing our job, but also gain important information on what's going on at Minorca, and let us provide you more details on unemployment, as well as anything that we see that you should know about and potential for coming back, and what we see within the economy. So I thank you guys all again. Thank you for all that have worked hard behind the scenes. There's a lot of people that have went into the last couple of meetings. A lot of people have gone into this bargaining, and all of them have worked hard, and they represented you guys very well. And I just want you guys all to be aware of that. Thank you again for being one of the greatest unions to be a part of. I know it's been kind of a rocky road, but we're going to handle this together, and I do believe in the future of Menorca. I will reiterate that. I do believe in our ore reserves. I do believe in everything that Menorca has going for it is going to carry us back. It's just a matter of when.